Hello, hello. Welcome back or welcome to Soul Whispers with Michelle. This is a soul-led message, which means if it doesn't resonate, you find it just confusing, or you're fighting the story in any way, just leave it behind for the souls that it's meant to find. May love hold you. May truth guide you. And may you be released from whatever is not yours. And so it is, my friends. This is one of my heavy-hitting decks that I really feel like really get to the shadow of situations. I don't know if that's what's going to occur, but it's almost like I see this picture and it's like the shattering of illusions. But in order to shatter that, you have to come to the truth and the clarity of it. So that's why I say it's a heavier deck, because it's really getting to the heart of matter and really kind of calling you out to take accountability. When you do this, though, this is where, you really shine. Because once that illusion is accepted, it allows you to act differently, or at least gives you an option to act differently. All right, my friends, let's see what's going on. We've got the one. This is funny. This came out with another reading, if I'm not mistaken, in the same position. I feel like this is really getting to a core truth, the light within, the seed within. Like, this actually feels like your soul, and that you're so connected to everything. Like the light that is emanating out of this. It almost gives me this feeling that you're collecting parts of your soul back. So that's super interesting. Because I kind of feel, this is what it feels like. Like you're starting to become whole. And everywhere where your energy was fragmented, interesting, because I wouldn't normally use that word, but that's what resonates. Where your soul was fragmented, it's being called back. So congratulations to you. Not really sure what you're doing, but that feels very potent message, I suppose. Let's see what energy is crossing this right now. We have the crone. Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of wisdom coming back, which also would make sense that when I say fragments of your soul, okay, that's so airy, but in a grounded, reality-based way, what that really means is where you listen to other people's beliefs and accepted them as your truth, which didn't allow you to then express the authentic, like it didn't allow you to express authentically because you're working with something, an idea, a belief that isn't true. And I'm not sure in this context if it's, it's not true for everybody or if it's really just not true for you. It feels more like it's just not true for you. So that's interesting. I'm not really sure what capacity that would be. But yeah, this is definitely a time where you're learning a lot. I also feel like you're receiving a lot of messages. Like intuitively, you're receiving a lot of messages with the chrome here. Chrome. That's weird. It's like a mix between, I don't even know, crow and chrome. I don't know. Okay. What I'm noticing is this pentacle, which to me is a physical possession. Seeing this bird with that is like there is a message, and this feels like it's a message that seemingly comes external of yourself. But what I'm seeing as a grounded perspective is that it's more that you are changing so dramatically that you're seeing the messages more clearly now. Because you've allowed yourself to come to the realization that other things can be true. And because of that, your physical reality and what you see around you is changing. Let's see what's gotten you here. We've got the mountain. I love that for you. It looks, especially this particular mountain, I usually feel like it could be an obstacle, it could be progress, but this particular one feels like you mastered yourself, right? Because it's like you went inside yourself. You are the mountain. And I feel like you went here. You may have been in a lot of isolation for months, even years. Not like you were completely, never seeing anybody, but I would say from your normal from, the previous years to the past, say, couple of years or months, is very different. Meaning it's just, you just don't hang out with a lot of people anymore, and it seems like you've put yourself in a lot of solitude to really gain a lot of knowledge about yourself. It's interesting because I feel like you formed, like the mountain was formed by you, by all of your achievements, by all of your beliefs that are becoming unmovable in a sort of way. But it seems like this inner knowing of yourself, because you've been in isolation for the past couple years or months, that you were able to come to the wisdom you have right now. What's supporting you? We've got the healer. This is reminding me of this because it's like you don't even know, at some point, it's like we don't even realize how our minds are being programmed. So even though there are times where like, oh, I'm fully whole, this is purely authentic, and I do believe it's authentic to you in that moment. But what I'm seeing with this is what supports you is your ability to move out of cycles, perspectives, or beliefs that give evidence to a different way of believing. In other words, you're not so unmovable that if presented with evidence, you will not change your perspective, but it feels more like you have to have evidence of that, and that you are completely willing to heal whatever it is that is not in alignment once you learn something. Wow, the 3 R's up here too. That really resonates here. And it almost is funny because I don't know if I did that on purpose, but the writings are like right above these 3 snake heads, which is remember, reclaim, return. And this is you. Whenever you remember something that is truthful, you reclaim that and you return back to wholeness. It's funny, I didn't like it. Something within my energy didn't like when I said wholeness. Because just because you may believe something else that isn't really in alignment with you doesn't mean you're broken or you're not whole. So what more accurately? So what does it return you to? Authenticity. It returns you back to yourself. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's see what's coming in to further support this. We have the vision. Interesting that, again, we have this mountain in here. Again, you have the snake of the cycles of healing. Like you're always going to move to become more and more authentically yourself. It looks like there's wisdom and knowledge that are going to be coming in. And it seems like, because we have vision here, it actually does seem like perhaps it comes in through your imagination or even in a dream. But I feel like what's coming in, and maybe even what you don't see coming, is the vision forward. it feels like whatever it is, it's gonna last, because I'm also noticing like this is part of a tree, and I'm noticing like all of the rings, which means it's an older tree. It's gonna last the test of time, so to speak. And I feel like what's coming in is a partnership too, of some sort. There's something with these hands that are, it's kind of, I need more information, I feel like. Yeah, it just feels like you are going to be supported and you're going to be held. And even if it's reversed, it's like no matter what happens, you're going to be supported. Or rather, even your vision is supported. I'm also noticing this red light down here. Like, it's going to be very firmly grounded, and rooted. Like, this is the mountain and this is all the way down here. But it kind of reminds me of like your root chakra. So I think you're really going to ground in a vision for yourself, and that something, a path forward is going to be revealed to you. All right, let's see what the future, if no changes are made. No, I don't want to say that because that feels more like the outcome. So let's go with, where does your soul want you to go with this? We have the temple. It feels like forming a sanctuary around what, excuse me, what you have come to clarity of. It feels like, I mean, this isn't really a protection card, but it just feels like there's protection in, I'm noticing this orange and yellow in your desire and what you're capable of doing and sharing with other people. That's interesting because it would say that what it is that you desire is very much in alignment, which is why it needs to be protected. There's something about, like I said, we're going into that, it's like orange and then yellow and then green, which is that heart chakra. So it really does feel like really protecting what it is that you desire, because it seems in alignment. It seems like you're capable of doing it. And then it seems like it needs to be shared in some sort of capacity. I'm not really sure. I'm also getting this paying homage to what? Homage to your growth. I'm noticing like the leaves here and like protecting your growth, protecting the things that you've come into. Okay. What is your perception of this situation, the prayer? I feel like you, it's like you have personally surrendered to a higher power and to this understanding that you may not currently know it all in this moment, but that's typically because something is blocked. And I feel like there's this part of you that can surrender until the clarity comes, and you release it to something higher than yourself. Again, it's like, you know that you're with that crone. It's like, you know that you're going to get the message, that there's going to be a message received. Okay, and there is a strong indication to surrendering. I think in part what the surrender really does is it allows you to make misaligned actions. Because it's almost like once you surrender, something has to come and meet you to be like, okay, I'm going to carry it from here. And it feels like this is your perception. It also feels like this may be in part the message you received or will receive. Let's see how you're interacting with the environment around you. We have the Queen, but of course, okay, because you know what needs to be nourished. You know what needs to change in order to thrive. You know what's better for the whole. Let's see what else I'm noticing in here. Well, the snake in the person's hand is calling my attention, but I don't really know what that means. It's like working with the shadows that come. And then shedding, like how snakes shed their skin. It feels like this is you. The way the way that you interact with the environment around you feels like you work with the shadow. And once it's seen, it can be, you could release it. I'm also being brought to this bottom part, the embodiment of grace, courage, resolve, and stillness. So it's not like you act when there's chaos. Like, you are not chaotic. If you find yourself chaotic, it's like you wait for the clarity to come. You ask the shadow to allow you to see it, and ask it, what do you need to be brought into the light, in, so to speak. Basically, what is the truth that will alleviate the tension or the stress accompanied with the shadow. This is how you interact with the environment around you. Okay, and I also feel you do it, well, we already said the grace, but it feels like you do it in a very, like a very soft way. It's like you can speak the truth, and the truth can be harsh, but it can be delivered in a way that is graceful and loving, and it seems like this is the way you interact with it. Let's see what your hopes and fears are. The Judge. Well, it feels like it's like This is your fear, which is people not accepting the truth. Well, that's kind of throwing me. All right, this is another one I think I need to pause so I can get the clarity so I don't lead you astray and then finally find it. I asked this before, and I'd really like to know if that is what you would like to see moving forward, where I pause it just so I can get to the clarity and not have you kind of moving with me. Or do you want me to kind of talk it through and see it through on camera and take you with me through that journey? It really doesn't matter to me either way. I feel like I'm saving people time not to do that, but I actually also think there could be important things for you to learn through the process that I arrive at clarity, because I think it can also encourage you to test that out and see if that's something that works for you. 2121 was on the clock when I said that, and it feels like 3-3, so it does feel like that's actually very aligned, so we'll go with that. All right, let me pause for a moment and see what this is about your hopes and fears. I guess I keep seeing a fear here, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I see this as almost like you fear people are going to be like, give me more, give me more. This doesn't feel like someone who is reaching out to be like, oh, this person gave me something. It feels more, the energy I'm getting with it is more like you're worried that people are just going to want more and more and more from you. Or perhaps even it's that your fear is that there's so much more to learn. Because I will say this feels more like a you reading than it does outside people. So that actually resonates more, that your fear is that it's like there's always going to be changes. There's always like more and more and more. But at the same time, then you have that other end of the spectrum here where it feels like somebody's like, stop, and puts up this big boundary. I know I said a pause. I'm going to pause because it's still like, I'm still not getting clarity with this. Hold on. I'm really having a hard time with this one. So I'm going to see if maybe I can use some tarot to help me see what I'm not seeing with your hopes and fears. What am I not seeing with this Judge card for hopes and fears of this collective? 8 of Swords. You fear you're going to be stuck. Okay. What do you fear you're going to be? I heard judgment. You fear you're going to be stuck in judgment. What does that mean? Fear you're going to be stuck in judgment. What's the root of that? What is the root cause of being scared of confinement? Like you're going to judge people for being stuck? Now this feels like a you message. So if it's you fear judging yourself when you're stuck. You fear judging yourself when you're stuck. Why do you fear judging yourself when you're stuck? You have the Five of Swords. Because that's your sabotaging behavior. Okay, so when you revert back to judgment as opposed to just seeing the truth with no judgment and coming back into wholeness, this seems to, that's your fear, that you're going to keep judging yourself moving forward. And that judging is, it's one of your sabotaging behavioral patterns. What would help you, what's going to help you break free from that? What's going to help you break free from that? Self-sabotage. Two of Wands, so there's got to be some sort of planning. It also feels like with these flowers in the background that you have to leave something behind. Which this seems very much like, okay, in order to leave this sabotaging pattern behind, you have to plan differently. So it's just, okay, so aiming, planning. So when this does come up, when you do start to judge yourself, or actually, I'm sorry, it's before this. It's coming up with some sort of plan when the sabotaging behavior comes up, because it will redirect your energy back to yourself and back to this wisdom that's really wanting to come through and continues to come through for you. I do want to see, is there something... Going to say, is there an energy to work with as far as your planning? And we've got the Prince of Wands. I don't really get that though. It's plan to move. It's like the motivation or desire to move forward even when the judgment comes up. And to kind of, I think maybe this is why it was so hard for me, where like literally I almost shut this off because I was like, I cannot get this hopes and fears thing. And it seems so simple, but I couldn't get it. But I think you needed to see me struggle with that. In the same way where it was like, I had to let my passion lead me, which is, my passion is like, I want to figure this out. There was fear with that though, that, okay, but I'm not going to be able to because I haven't. Well, that is not accurate, right? I needed more support. So I went to my tarot cards. And so for you, that might be something that's going to be beneficial. Something that may help you out of when you're feeling judgy on yourself, when you're really just seeing the black and white, as opposed to really allowing the truth to emerge. Again, without judgment, because judging yourself is your sabotaging behavior. So it's like a plan for the motivation when this judgment comes in to get through that struggle to the clarity. Like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have had all this additional information to share with you. And there's a part of me that's like, no, you have everything you need right here. That was a limiting belief though. I had access to a different resource, but I was being stubborn not to use it. And I feel like this is you in a way. I think that there's a mirroring kind of energy between this and that. All right, this is getting super long. Well, let's try, not try, let's, so what is the result? We're going to get 2 cards. What is the result if nothing changed? And what is the result if you do make this change? And I mean the change of the sabotaging behavior. Because that seems to, like, everything else is so beautiful except for this hopes and fears. And that is something that can be changed. Okay, so if nothing changes, the unseen. It feels like you're going to keep looping until you see it. Let's see what I have here. Yeah, so I'm at the, you know what, I don't need 2 cards. This in itself is 2 cards. I love that. I just love this because I didn't even think about that when I was pulling this. Is that this has a higher frequency and a lower frequency. So if nothing changes, and you continue with sabotaging behaviors, there will be an unwillingness to forgive. And I think that's where the part with the judgment comes in, where the sabotaging behavior comes in. Like, you really can't forgive yourself for what you did once you realize how that you were not correct. Once you've taken accountability, it's like you take that accountability and make yourself like, I'm a terrible person. No, that's not true. The truth of the matter is, it's the people that do these things over and over and over again and never take accountability of what they've done and hurt other people, that don't have the clarity to make the change. And it doesn't make them bad or you bad or whatever. It just makes the way that you've dealt with the truth different. You've seen the truth and the clarity and decided, I don't want to feel this again because this doesn't feel right to me. And you make the change. So it's like the one side of the spectrum is there's an unwillingness to forgive, and the other side of the spectrum is this clairvoyant guidance, whispers of wisdom. Really, again, I mean, look at that eye. It's really seeing things clearly. When you don't judge yourself for whatever it is that is being brought to your attention. And it makes it harder, by the way, too, if you won't acknowledge a shadow, or you make the shadow like, oh, this is not the greatest part of myself. And it's like, if you focus too much on that, you bring your energy level for yourself way down. And it's not like, we don't do the whole toxic positivity where we only see, you know, all of the light. We have to look at both. It's what gets us balanced. It's what allows us to observe objectively, and make changes that will benefit the yourself, but also the whole. When you benefit yourself, you benefit the whole. That's just, you know, how it works. All right. Holy hot dog. That's fun to say. Listen, I really want, what do I want? I want a heart emoji. I wonder if there's an owl. I don't know if there is. I suppose a bird would do, but specifically if there's an owl emoji. I would love to see that in the comments. I want to see how many people are getting this far with this message. Yeah, so if you felt like this whisper supported you and you would like to support me back, my Venmo and PayPal are located in the description. If you'd like to support this channel in a free way, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel helps these messages reach more people, and I really appreciate your support. All right, my friends, until the next whisper.